Excellent. So, Mary, if you kind of put that first slide up and share the screen and we'll get going. But I want to thank everybody, not only to everyone that's on the call tonight, but other board members that couldn't make the call and listening, and anyone that is listening to our meetings that we publish online. As a nonprofit, we really believe strongly in transparency, and we're happy to provide these board meeting sessions for you to get a sense of the work that we do. As you'll see in front of you, the agenda, we distributed this last week. We're going to go through this, where I do want, in a moment, you'll see a slide. We're going to approve the minutes from July. If anyone wants to do any changes, you'll have the opportunity at that time. And then everyone kind of take a look at the agenda here. I'm very excited about some of the things that you're going to hear tonight. Over the past 9 months to a year, we've been talking about some real exciting engagements that the foundation has been involved in, and I think that tonight takes it to a new level, including we're going to have our vice chair, Gina, is going to talk a little bit about a project that she's been running point on. You're going to hear certainly about the upcoming gala. You're going to hear about more community outreach from one of our new board members, James, along with Brett. As we always do, we will talk about the financial and risk situation, and then we'll close it out. As usual, I encourage everyone to be interactive, either through the chat, if you have a question or if a comment, or simply it's just our board up here, Terry and Mary, just, versus audio as well. So with that, if we can go to the next slide, Mary. I hope everyone had a chance to look at the minutes. Is there any changes anyone wants to make to what Mary had put together as our board secretary? All right, with that, if I get a motion to approve the July minutes.
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor that we approve the minutes from July as written, say aye.
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 Is there a nay? Just shake your head no. All right, excellent. And then anything anyone want to add to tonight's agenda? So we saw it there that what we were going to discuss tonight is to kind of stay on track, but happy to, if any board member wants to add any topic to the agenda, happy to entertain that. All right, motion to approve the agenda. Anyone?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you. Second?
Yes, seconded.
All right. All in favor of using that as our agenda for tonight?
Yes.
All right.
Aye.
Good. So let's move into it then, Mary. We'll go. Let's kind of hit it.
All right, I believe I'm up here. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, super. All right. We just wanted to inform you of a few of the new core causes. As Doug alluded, we are definitely pushing to a higher level. The core causes that we are seeing coming in are they're really blowing us away. They're very, very high quality. One of these is Engaged Food Pantry. And you'll be hearing a lot more about Engaged Food Pantry. They're in Chester, Virginia, which is a few hours away from here in Ruston. And they have served over the past 15 years over 50,000 families and want to do a whole lot more. So we're working with them real closely to start their fundraising plan under the new 501c3 under core as a core cause, and also trying to get them some new space. So just wanted to really highlight them. A couple others here that to just comment on real quickly. Yes, Youth Coaching. Some of you may know Emma G. She's a local singer here, and her core cause will focus on empowering youth through music. She also will be playing and performing at the VIP reception at the gala, which we'll talk about a little bit later today. But it would be really awesome to have one of our own performing and then giving a testimony about becoming a core cause and empowering youth through music. So I think that's going to be a really powerful message, especially to some of our key sponsors who will be at that reception. We also have some other new core causes, Claudia Wemple Careers, which is assisting students' careers in the public health field. Girls change the world for girls, which started out as a Girl Scout project for Sophia's Gold Award. And she's a high school junior here with a passion for helping girls in developing countries have access to education, specifically with books and bikes. So we're really looking forward to working with her. And then we've got a couple new potential core causes that are in the final stages. We have them as pending, but they've both given us a verbal to move forward. So we're pending some paperwork, and we decided to also talk about those tonight. That's Unlocking Potential, and that is Carly Fiorina's nonprofit, and she's going to be dissolving her 501c3, coming under CORE. Some of you may be familiar with her. She was the leader at Hewlett Packard, extremely successful, and she will be focusing on nonprofit leadership training, which really ties in nicely with what we do at CORE Foundation. Some of you may also remember the Wounded Veterans Golf Classic. They kind of took a hiatus, and they're regrouping and looking to come back under CORE here very soon. So we're super excited about that as well. And it kind of rounds out our portfolio as well with different types of causes and a veteran focus, which we didn't have, and a music focus. All right, over to you, Gina.
Great. Thank you, Tara. So I just wanted to give an update about what we've been trying to do with this Afghan exit project. And maybe, let me start. Doug, do you want to give an overview about your interaction with Daisy and how you have met her, I believe, through the core causes and other, meetings over the years, right?
Yeah.
Do you want
happy
to give a quick overview on that, please?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So, as many of you know, this is our 15th year. And throughout that journey, for all of the core causes you saw on the previous page, I bet there's 8 or 9 for each one of those that we just have to say no to, right? I mean, given our capacity, given the model that we have, and many of the ones we say no to historically, and even continuing to this day, are international ones. It's just too complicated with international laws and risk. However, one of the individuals that contacted us a few years ago came across us because they worked with a social entrepreneurship curriculum at a university in Australia. So there was a whole department offering degrees in social entrepreneurship. And of course, as you know, 15 years ago, we were one of the first even to use terms like that, where it was fostering innovation and ideas, but not to make dollars to help change the world. And we said no to her because of what I just laid out. At the same time, though, we entered almost a mentorship arrangement where there wouldn't be an official core cause, but we were always there for her. In fact, considered a leading advisor. One of the programs that she developed was mentoring women in the developed world, where women tend to be treated as second-class citizens and not given the education they need or the funding or the support to even raise themselves up in that. And unfortunately, some of those partners were trapped in Afghanistan.
Right.
So we were contacted when the exit happened, and we are very fortunate that Gina is on our board, and she's the first person kind of went to say, hey, look, can you kind of take point on working not only with Daisy, but I'm sure you'll hear about other partners that Gina worked with to kind of get us to where we are. So that's
sure.
Up to what Gina's about to talk about.
So thank you, Doug. And again, so this is just more in, to kind of level set. It's really about how Daisy has a list, she's a very go-getter and is trying to doing this really, I would say, more as a, not necessarily part of her day job, but trying to help empower some of these women and helping them having an exit strategy out of Afghanistan, in addition to heading up an accelerator entrepreneurship program within Australia. So she wears a number of hats. And in this instance, she reached out to Doug, and then Doug reached out to me she's targeted about 100, little over 100 people on her list that, how can we facilitate the exit from these individuals who either helped the US Army or the, some of the other allied forces, including Australia, exit out of Afghanistan and into Australia. So you may be wondering, why do they need our help? So because I think there's a lot of good relationship between the US and Australia. So to the extent that we can work with our allies to maybe apply persuasive, dialogue to the Australian, liaisons, I think the hope is they would be willing to extend more visas. So there have been success. There's been over 6 or 7 that have been able to exit the Afghanistan border, and then ultimately they're getting these visas to come to Australia. So although the public persona is Australia's not closed its borders, behind the scenes they are working and willing to help. So what I've been trying to do with Daisy, along with Doug, is how can we facilitate, whether it's contacting some of the senators that including Barbara Feinstein and some of the others, how can we facilitate and have their help for their staffers to connect us to relevant parties to help with any kind of a dialogue. Daisy is also starting a marketing campaign to try to see if there's, through social media and other efforts, can we raise more awareness. Some of these individuals, to give you a sense, one of them was invited by Senator John McCain as part of the IRI, which is the International Republican Institute. And this individual, this woman, was actually given an award alongside Laura Bush. So they're very highly accomplished individuals that, fought for the women's rights, worked with many of the American allies and recognized by the US government as significant value add contributors. So we're really trying to say these are individuals that are at risk within in the current confines of Afghanistan. Is there anything we can do to help facilitate them, over exit out of Afghanistan and some kind of a, moderated strategy, whether through the borders of Pakistan or wherever it may be, to get them. It has been slow, to be honest, but you probably read a lot of this on the papers. None of this is moving as fast as people would like, but there is some willingness to help. And especially recently, there seems to be more willingness to extend more visas or provide more resources. So we're just trying to do what we can to facilitate this at this point.
Thanks, Gina.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions or comments? And look, as you're processing this, I know this doesn't seem like it fits within our mission, right? But what was exciting about this opportunity is that everyone focused on this. Restaurants, where obviously this isn't normally part of their restaurant, we're asking,
Right.
How they could help. It was this kind of community effort that we all said, it's not right now about our long-term mission. Obviously, we're not going to make this a core cause or do all this kind of stuff. At the same time, this had a deadline. Our assistance was needed, and we and Gina kind of, ran point in the US to connect stakeholders to assist individuals with getting out. And that work is still trying to go on. So really, one, grateful, Gina, for your help here. And it was exciting to see some of the emails come in when folks were able to get out. Again, a lot of work still to be done. There's still folks stuck there, but Gina's efforts and Daisy's efforts, and I think our participation in the process certainly impacted lives of women that were and their families, because that's the other thing too, right? It's not just
Right.
the volunteer that was helping. The volunteer had kids, right, or had a husband, and certainly wanted to get all of them out together. And that had its own challenges.
That's right. Yeah. And Mary has been instrumental in helping. To Doug's point, there may be future core causes locally. As you know, many of the restaurants and local communities opened up, their resources to help some of the Afghan, do resettlement efforts and then within this area. So again, we're keeping an eye on that. Probably not going to be a direct linkage to how we can help Daisy with her efforts, but something we're trying to say, where can we plug in and add value and maybe potentially have it be another cause over time.
Yeah, and that's the perfect, I know James isn't on, but when James, you listen to the recording, but that's the perfect spot for CORE, is you've got an Afghani restaurant who's
Yeah.
really passionate about it, but they're not going to set up their own 501c3, or nor should they, to take 9 months to 12 months to help with the repatriation and the
Right.
support of Afghanis. So we're the perfect partner there. And so that's another thing to think about as we move forward. So thank you, Gina.
Great, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I was on mute. I'm going to be presenting this slide tonight. Suzanne Zern is our new gala chair, and she was unable to join us tonight. But we wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor on what to expect the night of the gala. It is November 13th. It is at Reston Community Center, and we did a site visit this weekend. We also attended another gala event there a few weeks ago, Suzanne and myself, and we did a little scouting. So we've got a really good feel for how we're going to use the space in the room. We've got some tremendous lighting that's available to us that's built into the facility. There are a number of tables and chairs already there, which is great. It'll limit the number of extra things that we have to rent for the event. We have a number of restaurants that will be donating food. All of the wine has been donated, as well as the beer by 12 different breweries here locally. We'll have some gamification strategies throughout the night, where you'll see on the board, you'll see some leaderboards with silent auction items, raffle items, and then some bits about our core causes. So we also will have core cause village displays from 7 to 8, and that'll give our core causes that would like to participate an opportunity to engage with our supporters and talk about their missions. We have an amazing DJ. I actually was able to go see him live yesterday, and he did an incredible job. He's going to be fantastic. Our MCs for the evening are Bianca, who is a core cause leader, and Steve Gurney, who is a former Community Heroes Award winner. And I think what you're going to find with them is they're going to be really uplifting. They're going to be funny. They're fantastic presenters. And they also represent the diversity that we really are wanting to promote within the foundation. So I think they're just going to hit it out of the park as far as the emceeing is concerned. Yep. So I think I pretty much have covered everything here on the slide, and we'll flip to the next slide, and then I'll take some questions if you have them on the gala. So a couple stats. So what are we looking to kind of walk away with as a fundraising number for the night? So we're looking at 25,000, and that would be after expenses. So projected expenses right now are 8,500. That's assuming that all of our food is donated. We still need several significant food donations, or that number will go up. So we still have, I believe, about 28 days, not that I'm counting or anything. So we've got time to do that, and definitely to get those vendors in, or those donors in. We actually have 35 tickets sold for $3,425. We got 2 in just a minute ago, and a $300 extra donation in there to go with it. We've secured 7 sponsors for $11,000. We talked about the importance of sponsorship on our last call, and when we had the golf tournament this year, that gave us an outlet and an opportunity to attract a kind of sponsor that we've never had before. So as part of the gala experience this year, we've created a sponsor program, and we have had, as I said, 7 sponsors secured for $11,000, which I think is fantastic. At the end of the day, that covers our projected expenses. So we're already right now positive going into the gala with 4 weeks left, which is amazing. We're also going to be encouraging monthly giving in the Founder Circle.
And I
Okay,
think,
so
Tara,
again,
you and I on that, just to go back on the sponsors, we're targeting, right, a few more companies, aggressively targeting them. And maybe at some point after this, if we want to ask some of the board members, to the extent they know of any particular contacts, you know, that might be helpful as well, right, to share that list. And you know, but we're kind of tackling it however we can to get some kind of sponsorship and donation right now.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Gina. So yeah, Gina and I have spent some time on a couple of different occasions. She actually worked today on a hit list, if you will, of various different organizations. Today, she was working on banks. So we found that definitely banks have budget right now. And so we're going to try to curate those relationships. And, you know, again, we're a month out, so we may or may not secure that donation for this year, but this is going to be an ongoing project because that's how we grow from a financial perspective, is to continue to create those relationships in the community. And as Gina was saying, if you have, right now we're working off some cold leads. If you have any, any
Right.
warm leads that you can introduce us to, we would love to get out there and do a pitch. Ted's as well been working with us and with our core causes on the elevator pitch, which has been fantastic. But having those warm relationships makes the difference. I've also been going to the monthly Rest and Chamber meetings, and that's made a huge difference. A number of the sponsors that we've secured are relationships that I've created through those in-person events. And I would definitely welcome having a wingman or two at any of those events, because the more ground we can cover together about what CORE does from different perspectives, especially coming from a board member, would be really, really helpful.
Right.
So let us know if any of you are interested. They're a lot of fun too. Usually it's kind of like a wine and cheese type thing, and it's a mix and mingle. You have to be vaccinated. That's the Rest and Chamber or the Chamber's policy. So just be aware of that as well. Did I capture that right, Gina?
Yep.
Anything else
No,
you
that's
wanna add?
great. Thank
Okay.
you. Mhm.
All right. So what are we asking of the board members? Number one, please come. Please purchase your ticket. I will put the ticket link into the chat link here in a second. Help us spread the word. What I'm hearing, and I got a couple of phone calls today too, is, hey, Tara, I haven't seen any information, any emails, haven't seen anything come through my box on where to order a ticket. I can tell you we've already done 2 or 3 blasts. What's happening is the constant contacts are going into spam and they're not being read. So what I'm asking to the board members is, please take, I can copy you on a sample email to forward, put your own spin on it as a board member, take it and forward it to your friends, your contacts, and ask them to attend. We'll put a QR code link in that email, and then just keep helping us push that out, and then as well on social media. So today we created an evite, not an evite, I'm sorry, an event, a Facebook event. And for those of you that I'm friends with, I tagged you. But you also can go, and I'll also put a link in the chat, go into that Facebook, just say you're going, because just by saying you're going, it's going to go through your feed and all your friends are going to see it. The more people are tagging in, the more traction we get, the more it's going through everybody's feed. So just be aware of that. And we've already talked about making sponsors asked. Be prepared to meet and greet at the gala. So at the gala that I attended a few weeks ago, we realized the importance of having the board members know who our sponsors are and proactively going and finding them and thanking them for being part of CORE Foundation and part of the CORE Village. So we'll be giving you, those of you that can attend, we'll be giving you, a couple people each to go seek out. So just be aware of that as well. And then the CORE fact sheet, just making sure that you all know sort of the hot buttons, the hot facts with CORE, so that if you're asked a question, Suzanne actually asked one of the board members a question and the board member couldn't answer it about the mission of the other organization at the event that we were at. So it's just really important that you've got your own kind of elevator pitch down about CORE and why CORE is meaningful to you, so that if you're asked those questions, you can answer them. Brett, I'm going to let you cover the next bullet because this was your idea, which I think is fantastic.
This is just an idea. We don't have to pursue it, but one idea is a board wine basket. So each board member and Doug would donate a bottle of wine, and kind of like a nice bottle of wine. And we've done this at a fundraiser through HopeCam where I work, and it was actually our highest item that we sold. So, or we did through the silent auction. So if you guys are interested in that, I'm happy to coordinate, and I'll send a follow-up email to this where we can discuss where to drop it off, or just bring it that night.
Tell me
Oh,
if you
great.
do, Brett.
Yeah.
If
That's a
we can
great
get that
idea.
ahead of time, it's better, just
Yeah.
or at least if we know what you're going to put in the basket, even if you bring it that night, because we'd like to advertise that, and we need to get that auction item built, and it will get a lot more traction if people know what's in the basket.
Yep.
A lot more
And
videos as well.
values and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right. So Brett, you'll be following up on that. Perfect. Thank you so much for doing that. All right. And then we've had some questions. So if your friends ask, I can't attend, how can I contribute? You could buy raffle tickets. Kurt Rose, some of you know him with Aspen Jewelry Designs, has donated an $1,800 beautiful, brilliant diamond pendant, which Raba actually is going to be wearing. And she graciously volunteered to model it that night. So she will be selling raffle tickets on premise, but you can certainly buy those ahead of time, or you can make a donation. Join the Founders Circle. So those are other ways to contribute if your friends ask. Okay, Brad, I think I'm turning this over to you.
Yeah, but before you go, I hope everyone understands how much Tara has done here to get us here. And we're super excited about having Suzanne Zern join as the gala chair, and we're very grateful. But Tara, you have gone, I mean, this is just incredible what you've been able to accomplish and put together. And I know you've had help and other, other folks on the board have helped out here, but just wanted to, on behalf of all of the board members, you put us in a real strong position to succeed where others, again, haven't done as well this year with COVID. And I'm just really grateful for all the work you did here.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited to see everybody in person and to bring the community together. So one more quick item is please nominate people for the Hero Awards. We're going to close the window on that really, really soon. So if you know of anyone that would be a great fit for that award, please make sure you put their nomination in. And just looking forward to seeing everybody that night.
Agreed.
Okay, Brett, over to you.
Okay. So we had this awesome event back in August, which seems like forever ago now. We weren't really quite sure how it was going to go before we started. We were approaching new shelters and just different outreach techniques. And it turned out to be, we more than doubled the amount of kids that got involved with the DIY superhero race this year. So we ended up doing an in-person portion of it for kids that were able to attend the YMCA. We had Alyssa's 3 boys do swim clinics for these kids, and the look on their face, Tara can attest to it. I mean, it was priceless. It was absolutely amazing. Many of these kids hadn't been in a pool yet that summer, and this was the last week of summer. So it was just such a nice experience for them. We have some feedback on what the children said, but these children were from either the homeless shelter or from a domestic violence shelter. And so just knowing what we were able to offer them, you can't beat that. That's what CORE is all about. So we gave out about 100 different swag bags. So we had not as many kids attend the event as we had signed up, but that always happens. But we did have about 100 children signed up for the Splash and Dash. And then going along with that awesome CORE Foundation project is this community outreach we did with Movement Mortgage. It's with this company called Daymaker, who makes the days of children in need. Actually, not, I shouldn't say that. It's not just children in need. It's children, but most of them are facing some hardship. But Daymaker organizes it all. I worked with Laurel Learning Center, and they nominated 20 kids to be part of this program. And each child, with the help of Movement Mortgage, received a backpack full of school items and also items related to their favorite things. So if one child checked off they love dinosaurs, they got dinosaur toys, and it was all age appropriate and just very specific to what the kids wrote in their profiles. So that's something that we think we can continue with each year, and we might be able to expand as well. So a huge shout out. I don't see James on the call, but he was instrumental in making that happen.
And just real quick, the idea of this program is that as the holidays come up, for example, the same group of kids will then be eligible to receive another gift pack of toys or whatever their requests are. So this is going to be an ongoing project that we're looking to build. Brett, to what number are we looking? 100, 80 to 100?
Yep.
So this will just be an ongoing goodness project with Movement Mortgage and Daymaker. We had a really exciting opportunity come up last week, and I got a phone call from Truist Bank, they found our website. So great job, Mary. Our word and our goodness is getting out there on Google. So she was querying local organizations that she wanted to partner with to do a Lighthouse Project. What the Lighthouse Project is a community give back with Truist Bank. It's a hands-on, they choose a hands-on activity that their employees can gather things, items, and then create packages of some sort, and then do a community assembly line kind of thing. So what we came up with is to engage one of our core causes, which is Essentials for Education, and they will be working with them to disperse the kits, which will be specific for teachers. We felt like the teachers, especially in some of the schools, in the low-income schools, free and reduced lunch high schools, the teachers aren't getting the support that they need. So this is going to be it's almost like another Daymaker project, but it's with Truist Bank Lighthouse Project. And we also put in that we also have a core cause in the pipeline. It's called Make It Great, and we have a verbal from them as well. It's also a referral from James Hoddle. It's a friend of his that was at the golf tournament and was really inspired and was like, hey, what is a core cause? Wait, I have an idea, which is the power of what we do and being at the right place in the right time, and why some of these events like our gala are so important, and the golf tournament, because you just don't know who you're going to meet and touch that day. And they've got a relationship with Sunbank and Truist as well. So there might be some additional synergies there, and we just wanted to throw that out there as well. Anyone have any questions so far? Okay. All right, over to you, Mary or Susie.
All right. So I don't know what happened to my slide here, but it's a quick update on the liability insurance. We received the official notification of non-renewal from our current carrier, USLI. We have engaged 3 different agencies who work with carriers who specialize in nonprofits who are willing to cover fiscal sponsors like we are. We expected the quotes last week. I did hear from Alex Richardson today that their underwriter gave a promise of a quote on Wednesday. So that's the best I can offer on an update. Our current policy expires on December 4th. And I'll definitely give you an update by email when we receive the quotes when they start coming in.
Thanks, Mary. Just as a reminder for anyone who may not have been following this issue, is that as we grew, our original carrier that was happy to kind of cover a small 501c3 with most of the events being covered by individual insurance like USA Triathlon Group, Track and Field, just felt that moving into this fiscal sponsorship world was outside of their realm. And so they did give us notice, and Mary's just done tremendous work. And I know Ted's helped a little, and some other folks to kind of put us in a position to even be getting these quotes in time before the expiration. And that includes this new model piece. Now, Mary, you and I talked a little bit about Doug also. Is that going to be a 4th option potentially for us?
Potentially. I've reached out to him and I'm waiting to hear back. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't want to give us a quote.
Okay,
So
good.
that would be wonderful if we could have Doug Downer as our agent.
Yeah, we've got for a long time supported by Tom Tufts, who did great. But again, what's happening is a lot of our real close partners, the people that were involved in getting us to where to be, we're growing out of their comfort level for supporting. In other words, they still love what we're doing, but we're just moving beyond what their comfort level is for supporting. And so we have another part of our core village in the area, someone who has been involved in core causes before that's in this space. And Mary brought his name to my attention today or a few days ago. And so we're going to reach out to him as a possible 4th option.
He was instrumental in helping us answer some questions about the gala this year in liability insurance. He would be fantastic. So just wanted to throw that out there as well. And I also wanted to mention in our last call, we talked about the Model L and insurance for that. One of the reasons we went to some Model Ls for core causes is because of insurance. And we did onboard our first Model L core cause, which is Cottywampel. And I did not mention that on the previous slide.
And two, Tom Tufts is still providing policies for the LLCs, those smaller policies for the for the LLC project. So we didn't lose Tom, and we may be bringing on Doug Downer. So that would be great.
And welcome, James. It looks like James joined us.
All right,
James?
can you hear us? Hey, James, can you hear us? You're on mute.
Thank you.
Hey. So welcome, James. I don't know, Mary, if you want to go back, if there's anything, James, we'll just, Brett did a nice job of kind of sharing some of the good work that Movement Mortgage did. I don't know if you wanted to add any color to that commentary.
Other than I agree, it's a great program that we've been doing for several years now, nationwide. It's an opportunity where, employees, throughout the company have the opportunity to go online, log in, pick from a list of all the different items that are in the Daymaker program, and select, 1 to 10, have as many as they like, to purchase, and then it gets distributed, through our network, to the different kids in different cities across the country. And it's been wildly successful. We love it. The donations that the employees make do get matched by the Movement Foundation as well. So it's been pretty powerful and impactful thus far.
Great stuff. All right, so financials, Mary.
So I hope everybody had a chance to look at the financial docs that Mary sent out earlier. Doug is going to talk about the EID loan increase, and then Susie on the income statement and balance sheet. And then finally, we'll turn it back over to Mary for budget discussion. So Doug, do you want to start off?
Yeah, absolutely. So just a quick, many of you may recall, or at least those that were here, that when COVID hit, we were disproportionately impacted because a lot of our work was events. I mean, you think about the triathlon and the youth triathlon, and a lot of these involved a lot of people being in some spot. So back when COVID first hit, the federal and in some cases local governments offered assistance to help nonprofit, well, anyone get through. And one of the programs they made available was what they called this SBA loan that was to help us get through this situation. A long process for applications, a lot of diligence. You had to be, you couldn't just be a 501c3 that just opened the doors. Mary was instrumental in kind of capturing all the information, and you put in this application. Well, then the initial amount came back, and we took advantage of that to keep us, on solid ground. You may recall that in June, we started talking about, where should we stand with this because we've got the cash to make sure that we can stay afloat. At the same time, it is debt. And our accountant, if you recall, recommended at that time that given the term, which is 30 years, given the very low interest, that we should continue to hold on to that cash. And if anything, take advantage of that to make sure that we are sustainable, because who knows what else is going to happen, right? We've got the Delta variants, and there's still uncertainty out there. So we were contacted by the SBA 2 months ago to say that they were offering to increase it to get us through this next era. And we decided to take advantage of that because, again, same terms, very low interest rate, longer terms, and just puts us in even stronger footing to navigate the next 18 to 24 months. So you'll see that on the balance sheet for Q4. The cash is now in the bank, and again, puts us in strengthens our balance sheet as we move into 2022. But happy to answer any questions folks have on that new news.
All right. If there are no questions, then I'll turn it over to Susie to go through the income statement and balance sheet.
Thanks, Ted. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Excellent.
I'm always jealous of Susie's cabin there.
Yes.
It's so warm and cozy.
All right, so hopefully everyone received copies of the balance sheet and the P&L. I'm only going to touch on some high points, and if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me. And also, anytime you receive this information, you're more than welcome to email me questions that you may have. So overall, if we combine all of our core cause accounts, in addition to our core operating account, we have $180,000 in the bank. And then the account that Doug was just talking to, this is as of 9/30, keep in mind, in Vanguard, we had $100,000. So there's going to be some funds that are moved around that are going to reflect the new SBA loan. And we'll reflect those when we have our Q4 summary meeting in January. So we did have our second round of PPP funding was forgiven as well. So we've been now 100% forgiven, which is great. And that's, again, thanks to Mary. On the P&L, there's just a couple major things I want to point out. This P&L that you have is a comparison from the first 3 quarters of 2020 to the first 3 of 2021. The main thing that I think is phenomenal here is the increase in donations. So again, this is from Mary and Tara's diligence. I mean, to be able to increase $100,000 in the times that we have right now, that's pretty impressive. So everything else pales in comparison. They're just tracking what we need to track. We have a good relationship with our CPAs, and we communicate with them regularly to make sure these are nice and tight. The other thing I wanted to point out is last year we were maintaining a balance on the Amex. So we were paying quite a bit of interest every month. That's done now. So this interest is from earlier in the year where it's now being paid off. 0 interest is being accrued. So I think that's another really big advantage to how we're operating right now. At the bottom, you'll see that the PPP funding is showing as another income. Don't be alarmed by that. It has to be termed as other income, but Joey and the group will take care of that. It's not reported as income when the returns are filed. The final thing I want to show right here is the charitable contributions. We're up $12,000 from last year for the first 3 quarters, and that's again that we have more donations so we can give more away. I think that's a great thing to show. We have, I don't know if all of you are familiar with the core cause invoices that we send out. So we send out invoices on a quarterly basis to all of our causes, and their donations that they receive, we invoice and we receive 10% back, with the exception of 2 causes that were grandfathered in at 5%. So those invoices have all gone out for the first 2 quarters. We'll be drawing in 2 days on October 20th, and then on October 31st, we'll issue for Q3. So that has now been all current, and we're going to move forward with this. And by the end of the month of the last month of the quarter, all of the causes will be invoiced. And so now we'll be expecting that income regularly every quarter. So as I said, if anybody has any questions, you're more than welcome to email me anytime, not just during, around our meetings, throughout the month, anytime. Feel free to send me any notes.
Thanks so much, Susie.
All right. Any questions, comments by anyone? All right. We'll turn it over to Mary for budget review. And I don't want to steal her thunder, but she's going to ask for volunteers on next year's budget planning. So I'm giving everybody an extra 2 minutes heads up on that. So,
Thanks, Ted.
yep.
All right, I'm sure everybody received a copy of my colorful budget versus actuals. Those that know me know that I just love my color coding here. Just a few highlights, since you've already seen it, is that the total income is up 80,000 from what we projected for through September 30th. And again, that is from the outstanding work that our core causes have done, and us onboarding more core causes, and as Tara mentioned earlier, more of a higher level core cause that actually gets out there and does a lot of work. I have highlighted in this peach color, sorry about that, where we've had some over budgets through September 30th. It's pretty much self-explanatory. The total amount over budget that we had for general and administrative expenses was $9,349. And if you look at your copy and refer back to those pink highlighted areas, I highlighted $9,683. That brings out the most significant part of it. $1,000 to marketing, $1,300 in insurance. Those are core cause insurance policies that we didn't realize we were going to be paying. Our insurance that we have budgeted for comes up in December, so that's why it showed there was nothing in the budget. Computer and software expense, we bought another computer this year, and that put us over budget a bit with some additional software that we've purchased. When we look at our total program expenses being $104,000 over budget, you can look at that. The major part of that is right here. And charitable contributions have been quite a bit more than we anticipated. Again, so much from our core causes. And event expenses, when we made out the budget back in the beginning of this year, we didn't realize we would have a golf tournament. So that's additional event expenses. And we also had some of the core causes do events as well.
And
had a little-
just let me
yes.
add into that too, that especially with the sprint, our signature event, I mean, you can see the costs were almost double. If you look at police support there, we're in this dynamic now where things are more expensive to get everything, renting trucks, all of that. And we've done our best to try to navigate through that, but that's also having a negative impact on overall operating income.
Any questions? Okay, let me change the share. Oh, so that reminds me of what Ted had said, is that we're putting together a committee for the 2022 budget planning. And if anyone would like to join that committee and help us put that budget together, it would be much appreciated. Be looking to do that, I would say, after the gala. So maybe sometime, or maybe even the first week of December, last week of November or first week of December. So please reach out to me, let me know, or to Ted.
I'm in. It's going to be fun.
All right. I've never heard a budget meeting described that way, but sounds good.
We're going to try to figure it out, Mary. We're going to shock the world. We're going to make
Sounds-
a budget meeting
Love
fun.
it.
I don't know how yet, but
Sounds great. Oh, and Doug had seen this slide that I did and asked me to share it. This is the core causes gross revenue received year to date as of September 30th. And it just speaks to what we were talking about, the work that our core causes have done. We have this sorted, of course, in ranking of dollars received, with, of course, the Rest and Sprint Tribe, our flagship, being at 109,000. But look at Woodworking with a Purpose and Helping Hungry Kids and Friends of Lake Anne, all in the 30,000s. And Rest and Pride has done a phenomenal job this year. They're up almost 23,000. Of course, Swim Team Dads does their normal 11,000. So many good. We've got Brothers by the Wayside at 7,800, and I'm sure they've got more to come. But when you look at, this is a total, I don't have a total on the bottom, but around $261,000. You back out the RST from that, that's $152,000 that our core causes have done this year through September 30th. and more good to come.
And Mary, if I might just add quickly, I think that a lot of that is coming from the trainings that we're doing. So we have a core cause leader meeting once a quarter, and we have a training topic. One of those training topics has been fundraising. And then Mary and I also do one-on-ones with the core causes on their fundraising. We update their flip cause links regularly, depending on the campaigns and new photos and so forth that they have. And then Ted has just really done a great job with helping them, the ones that really need that extra support, and mentoring, helping them develop their elevator pitch. And he did a group training on our call last week on the elevator pitch. So Ted, I just wanted to thank you for pulling that together. I thought it was really awesome. You did a great job, and you can see the results of that right here.
Yes.
And the
thank you.
press, though, that was the other one. So Woodworking with a Purpose has had some fantastic press. They were in Good Morning America. You know, and Nate's he's really developed as a speaker. He's doing a great job. So one of our earlier core cause trainings was first or second quarter, was working with the press. And I think you're seeing the outcomes of that as well with a lot of our core causes and the fantastic press that they're getting and the way they're articulating their pitch on camera.
Absolutely. Okay, so we have a reminder that the next board meeting is scheduled for Monday, January the 17th. And I'll throw to Doug to close out the meeting.
Yeah, just as we see all the work, that's being done, and by Tara, by Susie, by Ted, by Mary. I know, and Brett for sure. I mean, I see the emails and that go back and forth. Everybody on the call tonight, I want to thank too. I get it, right? You know, everyone's got their jobs, but you're on a Tuesday night. Cheryl's dialing in, right, from a different state. You compare this to kind of the board engagement just 2 years ago, and I'm just grateful, right, for everyone logging in. You saw my email that said, you know, Mary's doing a phenomenal job getting this stuff out to you ahead of time. Really just asking, right, just read through it, because the more eyes we have on this stuff, the more accurate we'll be and sharing to everybody what we're working on. So that's the first thing. 2, I bought my tickets, Tara, during the call tonight. So add 2 more. And I just asked that the board members, right, get on there and consider engaging in some fashion. As we've said before, especially with the great work Brett's doing with grants, even if it's just $1 or $5 for something that can talk about how 100% of our board has contributed. It doesn't have to be big numbers, right? Just some sort of really helps out the verbiage. So Tara did a great job of putting the link in there. She sent the email out. The more we can do to advocate across the community. 3, I'm going to share with you that this will be my final point. I will let you go at 8, is that I've now participated in about 4 events over the last month. And I can tell you, people want to be safe. They want to make sure others are safe, but they want to be back in person. They want to get back together. And especially folks that are newer to a community or are finding themselves in a position where they want to meet other people to kind of figure out what great works. The golf tournament's a perfect example of, you can't get that kind of connection from webinars or Zoom calls or Facebook. And so what we're doing is offering the community an opportunity to re-engage. And I'm so hopeful that all of the board members will take advantage of that night. And I know that not everyone will be able to make it. You've got other things going on, but those that can, please try to make a point of coming back, because the community needs us. And I'm not talking about the financial resources we provide. They need that beacon out there right now to talk about, we will get through this. We're stronger together. And now it's the time to celebrate some of the real successes that emerged during COVID. And so I'm really excited about that. So with that, all I need is a motion to close the meeting.
Motion to close the meeting.
Yes.
Thanks, Brett. Second?
Second.
Seconded.
And just, again, we're on track for 8 o'clock. I want to thank everybody, all in favor of putting this meeting to rest. And we will post a recording as we always do. So when you are talking to folks, we are very open. They can see all our tax returns online. They can watch all our board meetings online. With that, just a vote, all in favor of ending tonight's meeting.
Aye.
Aye.
I love it, Phil. I love the
There's your
game.
problem.
I look forward to seeing everybody who can make it. I look forward to seeing you on the 13th, right, Tara?
The 13th of November.
All right,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks so much for the prep on this one, Mary. Great seeing everybody. Take care.
Thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.